Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon Jaber HD, and today we have week 10 of Major League Pokemon, where this is actually the second to last week, so it is crunch time. We are 6-3 going into this matchup, but that actually does not guarantee us a spot in playoffs. If we get one more win in these last 2 weeks, we should be in, and even if we don't, we still would have a chance, but I want to say that my target at this point is at 7-4 should get us in playoffs, which is the minimum we need. But regardless, we want to put ourselves in the highest seed possible, which this makes this game especially important because this is actually the top team in our division. I believe he is currently 8-1, as we are 6-3. So while I don't think we can actually catch him, we can. Regardless, get an important win and really help. And then I guess technically, if we win big here, then differential can come into play. But most importantly, we need this win to make sure we're getting in playoffs. While a win here, I don't think necessarily guarantees us into playoffs immediately. I'm gonna say that 7 wins probably puts us into playoffs. Our team. It's the same as it was after, I think it was maybe after week 1 when I was able to make my switches, but, I've left it pretty much unchanged, being Danforce Landorus, Z Menifee, Entei, Kobali, Uxie, Z Venomoth, Sharpedo, Stunfisk, Drampa, Mega Dnce, and the Tangela, as Sky, and the Golden Zebstrikas. I don't think I said that earlier. That is our opponent this week. His team is Kyurem Black, Nidoqueen, Mega Slowbro, Jolteon, Mandibuzz, Blissey, Z Blaziken, Z Durant, Z Archeops, and Lurantis. As funny enough, we did face earlier in the season a Chansey Slowbro team that gave us some fits. While this team is Mega Slowbro Blissey, and so I have a feeling that those are going to be brought because of how they did against me in the pseudo similar defensive core did against me in the first time, because we did lose that game, but that core did give me some fits. So I think we can learn from that actually, and maybe approach it a little differently, as well as obviously knock off into Z-move isn't going to work on a Blissey since the Eviolite's not going to get knocked off. So I think we're going to learn from that and hopefully do better this time. Obviously Kyurem Black's a huge issue that I don't really have to switch into because they don't exist, so you have to revenge it usually with faster things. And also, funny enough, I think Nidoqueen is on this team, which Nidoking was on that team too, and that Scarfed Nidoking destroyed me. So I'm honestly expecting Scarf Nidoqueen very hard. Like, I really think that's going to come, because this is literally, not a mirror match, but kind of a mirror match, funny enough. So I think that's actually going to give me an advantage in the long run. I've not played Sky before. He's a former champion of this league, and obviously having an amazing season, so I know he's good. But I think, funny enough, him having too similar of a team to one that I faced earlier might help me win. So, first mon we have here is Entei, which I'm pretty sure has been my crutch this season. We're running Choice Scarfed, actually, and I wanted to be Jolly, so I could not run E-Speed or Flare Blitz, because those are event-only moves, making you adamant, and this outspeeds potentially Choice Scarf Kyurem Black, as well as the very much expected Choice Scarf Nidoqueen, and so I'm running Sacred Fire, Ironhead, Stomping Tantrum. That allows me to hit the Kyurem Black super effectively, the Blissey very hard, and then the Tantrum allows me to hit Blaziken and also maybe the Nidoqueen for not having to risk the 5% miss. I know it's only 5%, but you know, if you can minimize, then great. And then Toxic, obviously, for the Mega Bro, since that is an obvious switch in that I can definitely click Toxic the first time I have this out if the Mega Slowbro does come. Then next up we have something that it doesn't technically beat both on its own, but it does work against like it should if I get some damage off. It does take on the two main defensive mons I'm expecting in Mega Slowbro and Blissey, because Liquidation, Adamant Life Orb, close to 2-hit KOs Blissey, and then Dark Pulse with the 20 investment in special attack. Like, it will 2-hit KO Mega Slowbro unless it's pretty specially defensive vested. So, you know, more like at worst case it's a roll, so I'm, you know, flinching with Dark Pulse could happen, defense drop with Liquidation could happen, so I'm thinking that this can honestly take on the two fat things I'm, you know, really expecting to come, as well as then Ice Beam can help with chipping Mandibuzz if it's Fizz Def. You know, it doesn't really do a whole lot if it's especially defensive, and then Lurantis hits Lurantis, and so Dark Pulse, you know, hits Kyurem Black decently. Jolteon will get hit hard with Liquidation. Like, this can clean as well as take on some fat stuff. So the only thing that would stop it would be maybe Comfey, as well as depending on investment on what he actually brings, and so Life Orb could be the downfall of it. But yeah, I think with the speed I have, it's going to outspeed up to Scarf Blaziken once I protect once, so it will outspeed, you know, it, especially if it's Scarf Nidoqueen, it'll outspeed the whole team after one protect, so that'll be great. I think this has, you know, this is the matchup for Sharpedo to shine. Next up we have Menifee. Like I said last time, can't bring the knockoff Water MZ like I did against the Chansey Slowbro, but against Blissey Mega Bro, I'm going to bring the mono surf coverage of Tail Glow, Rest, Rain Dance with the Z move, so I can either use it on Rain Dance, Z Rain Dance, or Hydro Vortex, whichever I see to be fit. And I'm running enough special attack to, I believe it's 2-hit KO Blissey at +6 under Rain. So it did require quite a bit of special attack, so that did limit my bulk. However, the only water resists on his team are Kyurem Black and Mega Slowbro, and that I would expect to really come, and then Lurantis could, but I think that under Rain, obviously that takes away from Synthesis on Lurantis, and output of damage is better for water moves despite the resists, and I don't see Mega Slowbro doing a whole lot back to me. Kyurem Black definitely can, but it will get worn down by most of my team, so I'm not as worried about that being a, you know, defensive answer to Menifee. And it outspeeds up to Kyurem Black. Then next up we have Uxie here, which is fully specially defensive because I fully expect the Nidoqueen, and it can also help with, you know, any other special attackers being the Jolteon. It can be a switch into Kyurem Black because it's, you know, just naturally bulky in general, but it can take the Ice Beams if I don't want my others to take it, or if it's a special set like with Earth Power, that's probably more likely since I have 3 things weak to Earth Power and not really anything with Ice Beam. I have the Calm Mind because in addition to having to have Toxic, with the Calm Mind Psyshock, I can actually kinda, you know, do I can kind of sort of set up to where I can be extra bulky against whatever wants to come in after I maybe scare out the Blissey, if that comes in on me, as well as Toxic the Mega Slowbro or Mandibuzz. And then obviously Psyshock will hit the Nidoqueen, and U-turn gives me momentum, so it's kind of a weird set. Like, I'm not trying to really set up with it, but if there's an opportunity to make me extra bulky against whatever he's got, like if I just Calm Mind to where Bro can't do much to me, and it makes him want to try setup and gives me a chance to Toxic, then that's great. It helps me wear down things more so than necessarily, anywhere near sweep. Then next up we have Kobali on here, which is mostly Fizz Def, enough speed to outspeed the Kyurem Black. It's Chople Berry for potential Vacuum Wave on Blaziken or Super Power from Durant, as I think those are the most likely things to come in. They can give issues to my other Mons if they're left unchecked. And Archeops I'm not as worried about, so I know it can Earthquake me, but I think I should live a hit regardless. But Durant Superpower and potentially Z Superpower could be an issue, as well as maybe an Agility up Blaziken. But I think this allows me to play more freely to where I don't allow either of those to any setup. And I have the Close Combat Iron Head, which hits the Kyurem Black, and then Iron Head hits Nidoqueen for some damage, especially if it's not too defensive, if I see it fit to sack us off. Volt Switch for when the Bro comes in, because last time my Kobali was just free reign for the Slowbro to come in, so I think that I want to pivot out. I know I could run Toxic on this, but I do want Rocks, and so I think Volt Switch would just be better for gaining momentum, because most of the time Nidoqueen not going to want to switch in on this if it's offensive, and that's the only way that he would stop me from being able to Volt Switch out. Iron Head hits the Comfey, hits the Archeops, super effective damage, and then obviously Close Combat for Blissey. I thought about special attacking, but Blissey, it's a thing, to try to do more damage to make Slowbro, but I had to run Close Combat for Blissey. I know it's not going to kill it, or I assume it's not going to kill it because it's just weak, but that doesn't really need to. Just if it's weakened, that lets the rest of my team do work to it. And lastly, we have Mega Dnce, which thankfully, since it is 160 base attack and special attack, I'm running enough for Moonblast to 2-hit KO Mega Slowbro. If it is Fizz Def and Diamond Storm, should just about 2-hit KO Blissey. Like I'm not sure if they exactly 2-hit KO every time, but it's close to it on both of those, so that definitely is nice. HP Fire for the Durant, because it can be a threat to my team, and Earth Power for the Nidoqueen that otherwise resists the dual stab. And this, there's no switch-ins to this. Like, the 4 attacks just makes it such a threat. Like, Mandibuzz can't take 2 hits. Like I said, Mega Slowbro and Blissey might be able to, but the rest of my team is built to wear them down, so that's nice. And I think that with the being max speed tying Archeops, he only has Jolteon that naturally outspeeds it, so I think this will be the main issue to him. So he's gonna, this will allow me to find out what Scarfer is there, which I'm expecting again Nidoqueen, because literally faced the core of Nidoking Chansey Slowbro previously, so I think Mega Bro, Blissey, and Nidoqueen will be honestly played pretty similarly. So hopefully I'm right, and I'll see you back at Team Preview. And we are back with Team Preview as Sky has decided to bring the Mega Slowbro, Kyurem Black, Blissey, Jolteon, Nidoqueen, and Archeops. So first thing I noticed is Cobalion's pretty expendable, because the main things that it's designed for aren't here. While it still has some use, because it should be able to take a hit from Archeops, and it should be able to take a hit from Kyurem Black, most likely. I'm willing to now play more freely with it, since I don't need to save it for anything, and I definitely do want rocks, so that is going to be my lead of choice. But like I mentioned earlier, I definitely expected the core of Mega Bro, Blissey, Nidoqueen, and Kieran Black is just great, so those 4 were pretty, I think, obvious in my mind, so I think that helped me in my prep, and I am very happy with what I see here. And Archeops, well, it could be a wild card in what it does, since it can be just like a lead, or it could be quite offensive. I think I can handle it with my team. And Jolteon, well, I don't have a ground type. I do have my very specially defensive Uxie, so I'm not too worried about it. So I lead off with the Kobali, like I said. He leads off with Jolteon. I'm just getting up rocks because I don't care, about this being healthy, as he goes for Volt Switch, does a lot of damage, and he's going to actually Mega Evolve. I think we do have to Mega Evolve turn 1 in this league, and so it allows me to Volt Switch out into Uxie, as he sets up with the Calm Mind already, and I'm just going to go for the Toxic, as he, I believe, predicts this nicely and goes into Blissey, and that allows me just to U-turn out. I'm assuming he's going to go for, rocks, maybe Seismic Toss, whatever, but he actually goes for Toxic, which is perfect, since, like I said earlier, I can play this pretty freely and go into Kobali, and I can just throw off a close combat, no need to predict, because Blissey, if it's out of the way, really frees up my team. So he switches into the Nidoqueen, does a good amount of damage, especially with me being not offensive, so he actually goes for rocks, so maybe he isn't Scarfed, not sure, but, definitely forcing him out with this, as I can just throw off the Psyshock. Doesn't quite 2-hit KO from that range, so I can just U-turn out on the expected soft-boiled, as I can just go back into my Kobali yet again, and he doesn't have leftovers, so that does lead me to believe that he probably is Chople, as I do go for the close combat, and it is indeed Chople, so it does not KO, as he goes for Flamethrower, knocks me out. No biggie, because he is super weakened, and now I can bring in the offensive threat in Mega Dnce, and I can just throw off the Diamond Storm and nab this KO. So down goes the Blissey, which really opens up the rest of my team, and so he goes into his Slowbro, as I can go right back into my Uxie. He goes for the Surf, doesn't really do a whole lot, as this actually allows me to go for the Calm Mind, because I don't think he's going to stay in. And he actually switches straight into the Nidoqueen, probably expecting my Toxic, but since I went for the Calm Mind, now he knows he can't do much to me, so I can just throw off this Psyshock here for free, get damage on anything as Jolteon comes in, do a ton of damage, and it can't do a whole lot to me because I am, +1, as he actually just throws off a Toxic knowing that he can't do a whole lot, and I can KO this Jolteon. So I feel really good about my Uxie being in. He can't really KO me. I mean, if he's like banded with this, maybe he can, but he throws off a Fusion Bolt, does get the crit, so I mean, he's clearly was not banded, but so he's gonna be able to KO me from that range because of the crit, which kind of sucks, but I got Psyshock damage off, and I got enough information to know that he is he's not banded, so Fusion Bolt is not going to OHKO my my Dnce from this range, as I can just throw off a Moonblast. It's going to do a good amount to everything, as I get the Nidoqueen, get a special attack drop, but it actually doesn't matter because he, like I thought, was Scarfed me, so it was interesting that he was Scarfed rocks, but this actually allows me to go into my Sharpedo, get the Protect off, and now I can just start attacking. I go for the Liquidation, no need to predict here. I take out the Scarf Nidoqueen, and now I'm definitely faster than anything else if anything else is Scarfed. Now I can go for Dark Pulse. Does 54, so he actually does have some special defense investment, as he's just slacks off, so I'm like, okay, cool, if I get this, if I get that same roll again, I knock it out. I get a lower roll, so I don't knock him out, as he just goes for Surf. And now that means I'll have 2 more hits. So I just go for Liquidation, since that will hit everything and it will knock out the Archeops if it comes in. And so now he goes into Kyurem Black. I can just Dark Pulse for enough damage to put Archeops in Defeatist or knock this out. And this game is, you know, I don't think there's a one move that he can lock himself into if he's Scarfed, so I can go into my Entei and just go for Iron Head. You know, if he locks himself into like Rock Move or Earthquake, you know, he has to flinch me the Rock Slide. But he's not Scarfed, so I just win the game here. And I, you know, glad that we got the 2-0 victory. Since it wasn't a big win, we're not gonna catch Sky, but that's okay. We have 7 wins. I think that's, you know, an 11-week season. That should be enough to get playoffs. And I think this game was played really well on and prepped for really well, in part because of having to play a similar type of team previously. It was Scarf Nidoqueen like I thought. I didn't think it so for half the time during the game because he was Scarf Rocks, but I think that Scarf Entei was just a great bring, because looking at what he ended up bringing, you know, if I had to use it more, Iron Head beat the Archeops. Sacred Fire did a ton to Jolteon and Nidoqueen, as well as the Blissey, and also probably to a KO'd Kyurem Black. So, I mean, he had nothing for Entei in my mind, you know, like there was Mega Bro, but I think with the rest of my team, while I didn't have, you know, many ways to really hit it hard other than Sharpedo, I think that because I had Toxic on the Uxie that was, you know, meant to come in on it anyway, and then just get out with you turning into other things that kind of more or less, you know, meant for it to come in on it. I think that, you know, at some point I was going to wear down the Slowbro enough to where Entei would win in the end, or Sharpedo, but since he had the special defense investment, Sharpedo didn't quite finish it off, but thankfully Entei was there. And with that, we are you know, pretty much in the playoffs. I haven't looked to see if I'm actually guaranteed, but in the playoffs. And this game went very well, and you know, nothing too crazy was really needed to be done on my part. I think the prep really carried it, and you know, if we do have a potential rematch, obviously I'll have to think of a new way to beat him in the playoffs. But I think that, you know, team matchup wise, I think I showed that my team can handle his, and I would very much welcome the rematch. So thank you for watching and making it this far with us on this season, and I look forward to continuing and into the playoffs. Bye!